everybody, welcome to today's activity challenge. Today's challenge is called the balloon race. Now first what we're going to need to do is set up our area. And then after that we're going to have to move the camera to actually play the game. So here's how we're starting. I'm going to walk right over here to my start spot. Okay, so right now we're putting a spot right down here. And that's going to be the start spot. This is going to be where the balloon is going to start from. So after that, to set up your area, this doesn't have to be exact. What I did was I put my foot on the spot and I took two big steps. 1, 2. Now I'm at the first spot. This is where the racer, you or I in this case, will be starting from. Okay, now after that, to set up the next one, all we're going to do is put the back of our foot on it and then put your feet together. That's my second spot. Then I repeat the process. Third spot, repeat the process. Fourth, and then repeat that fifth spot here. Now you can go as many spots as you like. Yeah, I'm just going to be using 5 for our activity. Now I'm going to do this in 3 different ways, so we'll get to that in just a moment. Now remember, if you don't have spot markers to mark the spots on the floor with, you can always use something like a dream coaster, sticky papers, or even just pieces of tape. Anything will work. You can use shoes or stuffed animals to mark the spots. Doesn't really matter. And I like spot markers, or the sticky papers would probably be your best choice. All right, after that, what we need is the materials that we're going to be racing against, because that's the challenge. You'll be racing against different items to see if you can beat them. Now, what I did here was I got my materials ready. First thing you're going to need is just a regular balloon filled up with the air from your lungs and not helium, so again, it can drop onto the ground. Okay, after that, you'll need various types of balls to race against. Now, the different balls are going to present different challenges. A bigger and bouncier ball is going to be a little easier to work with than something that's small and not quite as bouncy, like a tennis ball. Tennis ball is not nearly as bouncy. And I have several different things I assembled here. This one's big and very bouncy. This is a giant tennis ball, which is not quite as bouncy. Then we went down to smaller size balls like the tennis ball, a racquetball, or a ping pong ball. Again, anything can work, and the more different types of items you have, the more variety you can have in your challenges. And lastly, and this will be the most challenging race we do, will be a balloon filled with helium. Now they do sell these at the grocery store if you don't have one at home, and you probably don't right now. I picked this one up at the grocery store for $2, so if your parents can get you one of these, great, but if not, you can do the other challenges. All right, everybody, we're going to move the camera and get started. All right, now that we have our area set up, we're ready to play balloon race. So we're going to start, and you're going to need an assistant for this one, so Mrs. B will be helping me out. Now, not only is Mrs. B my assistant, but the way you should do this is compete against each other. Now, for the sake of time, I'm just going to be doing all of the examples, and Mrs. B will just be my assistant. But in this game, you can take turns and see who can get the best score. So let's talk about how to do that. Now, Mrs. B is going to go ahead and climb up her ladder here, so she's nice and safe. She's going to... It's a ladder, so not a chair or something. You can't see her anymore. But what she's going to do is hold the balloon up as high as she can. Now, Mrs. B can actually touch the ceiling when she's on the ladder. So she's going to put the balloon right against the ceiling and then drop it. So as you can see, it's dropping down towards our starter spot. Now, it's not going to hit every time, but she's going to drop it, so it hopefully will go straight there. Now, what I have to do to start is go to the first starting point. And when she drops it, I have to see if I can get to the balloon before it touches the ground. If I get it before it touches the ground, then I can advance to the next spot and the next and the next. So I'm going to start from spot 1, and Mrs. B will just drop it whenever she's ready, and I have to catch it before it hits the ground.
3, 2, 1.
So that time was pretty easy, so I passed that one. Now if you're competing against each other, now Mrs. B would take her turn. But again, for the sake of time, I'm just going to continue on. So now I move to the second spot, and she would again. She's giving me a countdown, which makes it a little bit more fair.
3, 2, 1.
So again, caught the second one. So on and so forth. So I'm going to go ahead and go all the way back to the last one and see if I can get it from the last one. So this is spot 5.
3, 2, 1.
All right, so I got the balloon. So now what I can do to make the challenge even harder is I'm going to start over again, but this time I have to put at least one knee on the ground. So with one knee on the ground, can I get to the balloon before it hits the ground?
3, 2, 1.
So got that one. And again, you would continue to progress all the way to the last spot. So I'm going to jump all the way to the last spot now and see if I can do it from the last one. So this is spot 5. One knee on the spot, ready to go.
3, 2, 1.
Ooh, made it. That was a lot closer, but I did that one. So again, if you want to add more spots, you can do that to add more challenges, or you could even try to make this part even more difficult by starting from a different position, like a seated position or something like that. All right, so now let's show you how we can do this same game, but without a balloon in case you don't have one, or just to increase the level of challenge. So now we're going to switch to a ball drop. All right, so now we're going to show you how to play this as a ball drop game. So same idea, but instead of dropping a balloon, you're going to drop the ball. Only this time I'm going to allow myself one bounce. So the ball will bounce one time, and I would have to get to it to succeed before it bounces a second time. So one bounce is good, 2 bounces, you're out. So here we go. I'm going to give the ball back to Mrs. B, who's still up on that ladder there. I'm going to go to the first spot, and just like the last one, I would start with a root or on my feet, and she'll drop the ball on her 3-second count.
3, 2, 1.
So I got it before the second bounce. I would move on to the second spot, then the third, then the fourth. Again, for time saving, I'm going to go all the way to the 5th spot and see if I can get it before it bounces twice.
3, 2, 1.
All right, so I got it. So now if I want to continue with this ball, I would start again, but I would go down to a knee. Okay, but now let's show you what happens if we change the type of ball, because this one is pretty big and bouncy, as you saw. Now let's do one that's a little bit less bouncy. So now we'll use the giant tennis ball. And I'm going to start from the 5th spot on this one, just again to save a little bit of time. But again, you want to progress through this and see how far back can you go, how many spots can you make versus your opponent. So I'm going to go all the way back to spot 5 and see if I can get it.
3, 2, 1.
Much closer that time, but I did get it. So that was the ball drop from the 5th spot. So then we would change to a different type of ball. So I'm going to go to the regular size tennis ball now and see what happens with this one. So again, every material that you select will react a little bit differently. So I'm just going to start this one from the middle somewhere. Again, you would want to progress all the way through. I'm just bouncing around a little bit.
3, 2, 1.
Okay, got it. So this one's still pretty bouncy, but because it's smaller, it was a little bit harder to catch. And again, I also have a racquetball, which is pretty bouncy but small, and a ping pong ball, not quite as bouncy and much smaller. So again, you can try different types of balls to see how it reacts, which one can you catch. And remember, you're only allowed one bounce. You got to get it before the second bounce. All right, that's the ball drop. Now we're going to move on to the most challenging way you can play this. All right, now we're to the most challenging way you can play this game, and this is the reason I called it balloon race. So this is my helium balloon. Now Mrs. B is holding this one, and again, you should be competing against someone. I'm just doing all the examples in this case. So Mrs. B is holding the balloon, and what she's going to do now is hold the balloon down right at the starter spot. Okay, and what she'll do is release the balloon. Now the helium balloon is going to go up instead of down, so I have to see if I can get to it before it gets out of my reach. Now I can jump or leap to get to it, but if it gets all the way to the ceiling, then I lose. And you'll notice that we did leave a little bit of a string on there, so just in case it does get away and you don't get it, you can still get the balloon back. All right, so we're going to go ahead and start the balloon race now. Okay, we're ready to start. So I'm back at the first starting spot, and Mrs. B is on the balloon starter spot, and she's going to go ahead and sit down on this one. Again, she'll be doing all the examples, so she's going to be down there for a little while. Now she'll give me that 3-second countdown just like before. When she releases the balloon, I can move forward, and this time I'm going to have to try and catch the balloon before it gets above me. All right, so here we go. I'm at spot 1, ready to go.
3, 2, 1.
All right, got that one. So now I'll move on to spot 2. So this is me at spot 2.
3, 2, 1.
All right, got that one, but that one almost got away already just at spot 2. So here we go to spot 3.
3, 2, 1.
Okay, got the third one. On to spot 4 now.
1.
Okay, we got spot 4. Moving on to spot 5.
3, 2, 1.
Okay, and got the 5th one too. So far I'm doing pretty well, but now we have to step up the challenge, or in this case, kneel down the challenge. So now I'm going to start over again from spot 1, but this time I have to have one knee on the ground. My other leg is ready for me to run. You can put your hands on the ground if you want to push with those, or you can kneel straight up. You decide what works better. Try them both and see what works faster for you.
3, 2, 1.
Spot 1 got it. Moving on to spot 2.
3, 2, 1.
Got spot 2. Moving on to spot 3.
3, 2, 1.
Got spot 3. Moving on to spot 4.
3, 2, 1.
Got it. Not by much. On to spot 5.
3, 2, 1.
All right, so I made it through all the spots on that one. So now again, you could make spots further back, or you can make the challenge even harder. I mentioned sitting down, or going from 2 knees, or even laying down. So let me try one. I'll try one from sitting down just so you can see the difference. And I'm just going to start at spot 3. We'll pretend I got it already at first spots 1 and 2. Let's see what happens when I go to spot 3, sitting down.
3, 2, 1.
Didn't get it. So at some point you're going to reach your limit. So for me, I know I can't do it sitting from spot 3. We didn't try spot 2. You'll have to see how you can do. But this is your PE class, not mine. So go have fun. Challenge yourself. Good luck. See if you can beat your brother or sister or mom or dad. Bye, everybody. See you next time.